Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back for round 5 of Season 7, Division 2. It's time to take a visit to the street circuit of Baku in Azerbaijan. Let's take a look at the circuit that we're going to be around today. 6 kilometers in length, 20 corners through the city center. So a lot of right angle turns, just 2 DRS zones down the back straight and into turn 3. So those will likely be some of the better overtaking opportunities. Down that long back straight, one of the longest full throttle blasts, drivers will reach speeds of over 215 miles an hour before having to put the anchors on for turn 1. Speaking of turn 1, it is one of the best overtaking spots. Sharp left-hander, nice little 90 degrees, and of course heavy on the brakes, slowing down from that absolute maximum velocity. Of course, at the end of the next DRS zone into turn 3, another 90-degree left-hander sets you up if you can make the move to stay ahead for sector 2 as it gets tricky through the castle section, which switches back and forth. Here are the tires as we take a look up the hill at the castle section. Soft, medium, and hard as always. The medium is 0.7 of a second slower per lap. The hard's 1.3 seconds slower per lap around this particular circuit. Only 7 laps of life in the softs, 14 in the mediums, and 19 expected in the hards. A pretty high degradation circuit, and considering it's an over almost 30 lap race, it could be an interesting one as far as tire strategies goes. Of course, with all the walls, safety cars could come into play as well. Here's where the championship stands. Robin on top on 71 points. Chronicle in P2. Spen in 3rd. Gali moving up into 4th. And we are down in 5th, just a couple of points ahead of our teammate Dog. Zhao is up into 7th. Daryl Adam, Bananarama, and Pathaman rounding out the top 10. So we're looking to rebound from that DNF last week in Spain, which, coming on the heels of a race win that got us right into the championship fight, really hurts as we are now sitting a considerable margin off of Robin in the front. But let's head down to qualifying for our first flying runs. We're coming out a little set of kinks that set up the flying lap. Battery power up to full, and DRS line coming up right now. So we'll open that and you'll see that VMAX climb, 213, 14. You'll just see it tick almost to 216 as we hit the anchors down for turn 1. A little deep, and then that right wall comes up very quickly. So it's kind of a safe route we took through there. Then another hard on the brakes, turn 2. Just a few 90-degree corners to get around to start the lap. And then DRS is open once again as we are heading down into turn 3. Find about just ahead of the 100-meter board. Get on the brakes, find this exit curbing as that wall comes right up and now into the middle section where it's very tricky and easy to both lock the front tires and put some serious wheel spin through the rears. Now through this little tricky left-right area, not a lot of opportunity to overtake around the middle sector. You got to just kind of tuck in, and then as we head towards the castle section, hairpin right-hander, a little bit of a lockup on the way in there. Sakai out of the session. And now through the castle section as we have to very much adjust to get up the hill. The back end goes very light through this little right-left sling. And now as we blast along the outer walls here, full throttle in these 2 left-handers. Find this exit curbing on the right, almost at the end of it. Brake as you come down the hill and get back on the throttle. And this last corner sets everything up for the final rest of the lap. So you want to get as good of an exit as possible out there. Take a little bit of that exit curbing just to center the car. And now full throttle. Pick your line carefully. No lifts. Try and be as smooth as possible with the steering inputs through those set of kinks. And it is all the way to the line. DRS opens once again. You can see burn just about all the battery in that one quick lap. Across the line we go. It's just a 42.1, so a safe lap for the most part. Definitely lots of time to be found and improve on around this one. So we'll jump back out as there's about 7.5 minutes left to go in the session. We're sitting provisionally P8 at the moment, and we are geared up to go for another flying lap. So on the brakes into 1, we were a little wide in the first run. We're still a little wide in the second run. We found a little bit of time, but still not an ideal run through turn 1. Turn 2, trying to maximize the exit a little bit more. We do find a little bit of time there, but we're still only about a half a tenth ahead of our previous best lap, which there's still quite a bit of time left on the board. The provisional pole is down in the 40s and a big lockup down into turn 3 that time, and that is going to be that lap thrown directly into the garbage can as we are now over a second off. So we'll jump ahead, sitting still provisionally P8, only about a minute and a half left to go in this qualifying session, and we are on a fresh set of soft tires to go for one final attempt. So this is all or nothing. We need a good qualifying performance in order to try and maximize the results and hopefully make up for the mistakes of last week. A very good run through turns 1 and 2. Have found about 0.3 of a second already, and now just need to not botch it where we botched it last time. Headed down towards turn 3 on the brakes. Get the car rotated in nicely, and you can see huge time gain off of our previous. We're now 1.4 seconds up, as turn 3 was not very good even on our previous quick lap. So continuing to find some time as we work our way through the middle sector. Get the car rotated and gripped up. Power down where you can. Lost a little bit of time in that right-hander, but we're still about 1.5 seconds ahead of our previous best pace. Chronicle retires from the session out of turn 1, so it looks like there's a mistake for them, and now up through the castle, much cleaner that time, although a little slower on the entry and exit. So we've actually lost a hair bit of time. Maybe didn't push quite as hard. Chuck is out as well, so drivers making mistakes, but we have about 1.5 seconds of improvement. Only about 2 real quarters left to go. A little bit of a time loss, 1.3 now the margin, as we are trying to get ourselves a little bit further up the table. Out of the final real quarter, though, we do gain a little bit of time, and we will carry that little bit of speed the whole way, although a little bit of a mistake in the line. So 1.42 seems to be about the margin. It's going to hold pretty steady because it's just all full throttle the rest of the way. So keep our foot flat to the floor as we head up to the line. And we set the fastest lap, 140.503, so provisional pole as the checkered flag is indeed out, and we managed to hold on to that provisional pole by just under 0.2 of a second. So our first pole position of our career, actually. And there we go. So we'll be starting with nobody in front of us. Overcast on the medium tires is how we're going to start it. Red lights are up. And lights out, away we go. Not a great reaction and a very tentative release off the line. We're going to let Spen up the inside. Gali kind of dives as I'm looking at the rear view with Robin on the softs behind. He's going to have a lot of extra grip, but we're having to lift and be careful. To the inside, Yag is having a little look, so we're going to leave him space on the apex of 2. He has to back out as he doesn't have quite the move done, but that has cost us a couple positions at the start, but considering the way that the last race went in Spain, I was very much thinking of trying to be a little more careful. A hair of a lockup as they were a little slower ahead of me, and so it compromised my line. Robin nearly sneaking up the inside, trying to make use of those soft tires. They don't last particularly long, but there's already a yellow flag, and you can see just in the rear view, you keep an eye on that, how much grip Robin has under braking on those soft tires compared to us on the medium tires already. But of course, we're just trying to settle in. There's some pace here, and if we can just stay out of trouble, we should have the opportunity to try and turn in a good result today and get ourselves back up the championship tables. With Gali in the lead, Spen just ahead of us, and we're going to try and open up a bit of a gap to Robin. Those soft tires will take some pain on this high deg circuit pretty quickly. And we should be able to start to stretch away if we can hang with this lead group. And of course, DRS will become very helpful over the course of this one. So first time through the high-speed kinks, a little bit of a blend out, just because with the heavy fuel, it likes to throw itself around a bit. But yellow flags, somebody's sockeye out of this session. Daryl Adam is done, and that is a full safety car. Or VSC being called at the moment, rather. And it is upgraded to a full safety card, as it looks like. Now, Peter Ward has hit them and collected them. So, 2 cars out in the middle of the track and a full safety car called just 1 lap into this race. Now, we're jumping ahead. We've stayed out on the tires, as has everybody else around us, as the safety car is in this lap now. So, lap 4 of 26. So, we're just waiting for when Gali wants to go. It's a huge, long straight. So you don't want to go too early and give your opponents a slipstream. So we're just trying to get some temperature into the tires. And he's still waiting quite a ways. And now he's gone. So full throttle down, ERS deployed, and it decent reaction for us. We just got to keep an eye. Robin's been very good on the brakes on those softs. We're still on tires that are not totally good up to temperature, and you can just see Robin nearly into the back of us into turn 1. But again, that is those soft tires, which is getting a little bit extra life out of because of those couple of laps under safety car conditions. So they will last a little bit longer. So we're still looking to just hang with this lead group. At this point in the season, just looking for solid points paying positions. Of course, getting a little greedy after the race win in Imola makes you think that, you know, maybe challenge for the championship, but there's still quite a bit of arrears to make up and need to be clean for the rest of this long season. Of course, this is only round 5 of 13. The tied for the longest season in FRS history. Of course, I believe it was season 2 that there was a 12 race calendar, but Division 1 actually had issues with race 12 and did a race 13. So there's precedence for a 13 race calendar at some point in history. A little bit of a mistake coming into turn 15. We're starting to lose touch with Gali and Spen a little bit, and Robin's still very good on those soft tires. So we've got to try and put the hammer down and catch back up. 2 personal best sectors though, so the pace is ramping up. And we are, see, I just made a change to the front brake bias. Most tracks in F122, you can just leave it on 50%. Here, I was having some issues with some rear locking in a few corners. So I was, I wanted to move it up. I believe we had to do it, I had to do it last season in Baku as well. It's just interesting that the way it plays, and that kind of just gives a little bit more control to the front of the car. It keeps the rear end from locking up and sliding out. But as it is, take a look at the track map, take a look at the deltas. Iagen 5th, 4 seconds back of us, so he's a good 3 seconds off of, 3.5 seconds off of Robin. So there is a bit of a breakaway pack forming with this front 4. I'm not quite hanging on to the back of Gali and Spen. Yellow flags in turn 3. Doesn't look like anybody's retired just yet. But that is an Alfa Romeo, it looks like, off the circuit and going once again. So at this point, main championship challenger at this stage is Robin. He's leading the championship. So anything we can do to reduce the gap is a benefit. And I think we have the strategy. But yellow flags up just behind us in the castle section once again. So a lot of local yellows, and already a full safety car has been called in this race. And looks like Robin made a bit of a mistake through the castle section, so he's dropped off 1.1 seconds, but still has the life of those soft tires. And we go actually a little bit deep there into that downhill left-hander, and that has cost us a couple of tenths to the cars ahead. As you can see now, the gap to Spen 1.4, Gali 2.1 seconds. So we just don't really have the pace. Somehow, I mean, we got pole, but race pace, we just don't quite have it dialed in. We do have good straight line speed. You can see I'm closing up when we hit this long back straight to Spen by the tune of a couple of tenths, even without the help of DRS. But you can see they're lapping 0.3 of a second faster than me. DRS now enabled, but we're out of that range. But we are out of the range of Robin. So jumping ahead a little bit further here. Lap 7 of 26, 1.8 the margin. And there is another safety car deployed. So another full safety car called in this one. And now is when we start thinking about tire changes. And we should be able to manage and get the hard tires just about to the end of the race. I think 19 laps was about their life. So we are going to come in, pit this lap. I would assume most people on softs or mediums should be coming in this lap to make their required tire change in this one. So respecting the delta on the way into the pit lane. Tricky little pit entry with this little chicane and then slow it down. But we're going to take a nice cautious entry. No risk. No need to hustle our way into the pits. We should be fine. Just fine. Looks like Gali's taking a new front wing as we drive by. But so off go the mediums. On go the hards. And off the jacks we go. And up behind Spenwolves. Chuck has stayed out on circuit on his mediums. So he inherits the lead of the race, but it looks like just about everybody else opting for the pit lane, and that will bring us out in 3rd place as we move. Lost the position to Chuck, but moved ahead of Gali, who is now just behind Robin. So Robin getting a good pit stop time. But here we go, back on the restart, and Chuck goes very early. So it's caught us a little bit off guard. We're a fair bit back from Spen. We've got Robin right up the gearbox of us. I don't know that he quite has the straight line speed, even with the slipstream. He's going to pull to the inside. Is he going to have a look? We're going to leave him the space on the inside of turn 1. But around the outside, we're going to have a bit of momentum. A big snap of oversteer nearly caused us to go around. But we handle it. Robin, once again, late on the brakes. So we're just trying to get the tires up to temperature. And also, you know, ease it into some of these corners to do a little bit of tire savings since we have to get it all the way to the end. But that has cost Robin a little bit of time. And now has fallen a little bit off the back of us. Hopefully, Gali can put some pressure on him. But we are creeping up towards the halfway mark of this race. The overcast conditions meaning the track is a little bit colder, a little harder to get the temperature into the tires. So once you combine that with the hard tires, you do takes even a little bit warmer to or a little bit longer to get warmed up after a safety car restart. And the surface temperature drops off on the tires quite rapidly. But as we come out of the castle section, first time under green flag conditions, we are seeing that Spen is getting pretty close to the back end of Chuck, who is still on those old medium tires. Now the question is Chuck going to hold up Spen enough for us to get involved in the fight as well? And it kind of looks like he is. Spen not quite in position to make an attacking move just yet, but that has also brought Robin a bit into play. So up to 0.7 of a second is the Haas driver and the main championship rival at this stage. And we are burning quite a bit of our ERS, our overtake, in order to try and get inside an attacking position. But now Chuck very defensive to the inside ahead of Spen. Comes back to the racing line. Spen not really able to get much overlap. We have opened up a fair gap to Robin on the straight line. So I think we're just carrying a lot less downforce because he's able to brake quite late. Which would indicate he's got more pressure pushing those front tires into the ground. This looks like Chuck a little mistake on turn 2. Spen up the inside as they head down to turn 3. Is it going to be enough for him to take the position? Yes, he's fully ahead. Is Chuck going to be able to make the up and under work? No, not quite. So Spen retakes the lead of the race from Chuck. We have a small lock up there into the start of, or the tail end of Sector 1. And now just going to have to try and get our way past Chuck, who is struggling a bit on these tires at this stage. So away we go. And into the lovely castle section we are. So keep an eye on Spen as he's going to streak away. He's already got about a second and 1.2 seconds on Chuck. And we are going to have to try and get by Chuck as soon as we possibly can. We're quite close. No DRS just yet. One more lap before it's enabled. So down into this downhill braking zone. And Chuck locks up, goes deep, hits the wall. We have to kind of check up to avoid. And that actually gives Robin a very good run up the inside into this last braking zone. So we have to kind of yield the position. There's just not really any way for us to hold off Robin. We were just kind of boxed in by Chuck. And Gali nearly got by us as well, but we are going to go ahead and tuck into the slipstream. We've got a good run on both cars ahead. We seem to have a decent amount of straight line speed, so Chuck is into the pit lane. We are going to have a look to the inside of Robin, but early lift out, so no movement. It looks like Gali might have had some damage as well, as that I believe that is another, he is into the pit lane. So now DRS is available to us, but we have Robin just ahead. Now the struggle is, of course, we have the straight line speed advantage on Robin, it would appear. However, he's got the ability to outbrake us so far in this race, and is going to get out of the corners before DRS zone's a little better. Which, considering at least between turns, the one between turns 2 and 3. You're out of a slow speed left-hander. It's going to be tough for me to get the move done there. So I got to try and make the move down the main straight. You can see Spen streaking away. Just incredible pace on the hard tires for Spen. I wonder if he was running a little bit higher pressures to get them into the temperature window a little better. You can see temperature window okay. you would like them to be more in the mid-90s as far as core temperatures go. Low 90s is not perfectly ideal, so maybe struggling with tire temps just a little bit in this one. As you can see, they have that front left dipping down to 89 degrees centigrade now. Of course, you want to keep basically between mid-90s. And oh, Robin into the barrier just ahead, just the way that that Chuck did it before. Robin into the barriers, has wing damage. We saw that bit of carbon fiber come flying off. So now away we go. We're back up into second, 4 seconds. But Dog is out of the race, so Dog has a crash, and a VSC has been called, and that is going to make for a very cheap pit stop for Robin. And Furry Onyx is out as well. We are going to come into the pits. But so as we were going to look to try and run away as it's upgraded to a full safety car, we are in the window where a set of mediums can get to the end, and that will give us better grip than the hard tires. So with the way the field was stretched out, I think it was the right decision to come in for these medium tires. So Robin's going to come in, make a wing change, but again, the way the field is all stretched out, he's not going to lose too many positions. Chronicle does go through ahead of us into second, so he is also on a set of hard tires. We still need to respect the Delta pace as the leader has not yet been picked up. But we're going to jump ahead now. Lap 17 of 26. We are on the mediums, and the race is restarted by Spen, who is on the hards along with Chronic. But you can see Robin, once again, a mistake into the barriers, but right behind us. So the safety car is coming out at perfect times for Robin. Contact! Chronicle into the back of Spen, spins him around. We have a little bit of a look to the inside of Chronicle, and since it was yellow flag, we have to hand the position back, and unfortunately that lift has put Robin just on the outside of us with some momentum. So the mistake from Chronicle has let Robin up the inside, and we're not really going to fight too hard into this one. He's late, though. He does to Chronicle what Chronicle just did to Spen. We're going to try and sneak up the inside. No yellow flags this time. And we are up into the lead of this race. I think surely some wing damage for Robin from that contact, and maybe for Chronicle as well. But so here we are, lap 18 of 26. Just 8 laps to go in this race. And I'm thinking both cars behind me at this stage, likely 5-second time penalties each. Chronicle for hitting Spen and Robin for hitting Chronicle, and probably damage. I just need this race to stay green and get to the end carefully. And I should be able to grab a surprise race victory in this case. But there is still 8 laps left to go. Still have to make our way all the way there without stuffing it in the barriers. But you can see just how quickly Chronicle is dropping back from me now. He's down to 1.7 seconds already. I think that he may have picked up some wing damage from that contact with Spen, and I do believe that Robin surely has some from Chronicle as well. So we'll just have to see and keep the car out of the barriers. We're going to try and open up as much of a gap as we can to the field, just in case there is another safety car. There's the option to go on to a set of soft tires at the end of the race for a little extra grip and speed. We set a purple final sector, fastest of the race thus far, and although not the fastest lap of the race. But jumping ahead, lap 19 now, Godfather Martyr has retired, and a full safety car has been deployed. You can see the gap I had to Robin, 5.6 seconds. So I had opened up quite a gap, and then into the pit lane. We are going to go nearly get a speeding in the pit lane penalty. It's very close. But we are going to gamble. So at this point, opting for the soft tires. Just a little bit of wear on them. It drops us down into 5th overall, but behind Zhao and Chuck, who are on old mediums and drivers that I think I can overtake. And I'm also thinking that Robin probably has a 5-second penalty of some kind on him. So getting ready to restart this race. We'll get back to green flag racing very shortly. Lap 21 of 26, only 5 laps left to go. And we're waiting for the pedal to go down. And there they go. They've gotten away. We get an okay reaction off of it. Full throttle down into turn 1. And it looks like y'all going to try and maybe make a move on Gali. We go a little bit wide to let some space in for Gali. And coming out of the corner, but wheel spin in 4th gear. The ERS didn't turn off, or I must either miss the button or just didn't turn off into the exit of the first corner. Now it was fine. I was full throttle with ERS on in 3rd gear, but 4th gear apparently wheel spin, and around we go. Front wing completely missing from the lead of this race. We just needed to stay green, and a late safety car while in a clear race winning position. I was 5 seconds ahead and just needed to nurse the car to the finish. And then I had to make a change, go for a push strategy at the end, and a mistake crept in. So 9th coming in, new tires, new wing. We do have enough laps to go and steal and maintain the fastest lap point, which we have grabbed already. We are currently holding that bonus point, but scoring 3 points instead of 25 or maybe even 26 is absolutely brutal at this stage as we get towards the midpoint of the season. So out onto a fresh set of softs we go, and what was looking like a good potential race win turns into nothing more than a P9 finish with a fastest lap point as we go and we did a 43.2, so really just pelted in a significant lap compared to everyone else. So huge missed opportunity there. And that's going to be not ideal for the championship. We'll see who ended up taking the win, and it was indeed Robin somehow with the perfect safety car opportunities after damage safety car coming out, and just manages to take the race win ahead of us. I believe that is Gali in 3rd on the championship, or no, that might be the other option. I don't know. We'll see. Give you the race rundown in a moment, but yeah, a heartbreaking way to finish off the day. What was looking like a sure win at one point has gone absolutely astray. And after a DNF in Spain, only a small handful of points this time. It was indeed Gali on the podium. Bananarama comes home 2nd in this one. Chuck in 4th. Spenwolf in 5th. Yag, Chronicle. Then we got bumped up to 8th as Zhao crashed out late. So we actually end up picking 5 points today. And then Godfather Martyr, Furionyx, Dog, Peter Ward, and Sakai, all your retirements. But I'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully we can have a better result. And I'll see y'all a little bit later. Peace.